to me alone. I listen to the finest work song, your finest hour, your finest hour. Hello and welcome to Friday afternoon, the end of a busy week. Lots to talk about, lots to recap, lots to look forward to. And we got a packed show for you today. I am Tony Colombo in studio with producer Emily. We'll talk about this a little bit later, but while I'm thinking about it, I need to remind you, and I'm going to remind you all through the week, or all through the day. The week's over. This weekend, Sunday morning, Emily's on CBS.
CBS Sunday morning.
CBS Sunday morning with Jane Pauley. You can check out Emily being interviewed for the Girl State documentary that she was in, of course, that's been nominated for 3 Emmys. She was in New York about a week ago to do that interview with Jane Pauley, and we'll be going to the Emmys in a few weeks as well. So Congratulations on all of that.
Thank you.
And looking forward to seeing that interview on CBS this morning. I will say this. I believe this would be the first time I ever watched CBS Sunday mornings.
Honestly, me too, probably. Actually, I've definitely heard it on the background because, you know, the trumpet sound, like everybody, the sun and the trumpet.
Okay.
Yeah, that's CBS Sunday morning.
All right. Okay. Maybe it's just been a really long time.
Yeah.
It's
It
been a really
reminds
long
me
time
of
since I've
like
seen
Sand
Jane
Through the
Pauley.
Hourglass. These are the, even though it's not, it gives the same energy. So
Right.
I don't know. If there were morning shows were soap operas, that would
There
be
you
the
go.
days of our lives.
That's awesome. All right. Well, congratulations again, and looking forward to watching the interview on Sunday morning, and then looking forward to talking to you on Monday. We talked about this a little bit yesterday, but you said the interview went way longer than you thought it would in person, and it'll be really interesting to see and know firsthand, if there was any creative editing
liberties, taken.
or if there was if they show 5 minutes of a 30-minute conversation or whatever. So it'll be really interesting to see that stuff too. So looking forward to that. We'll talk about it again a little bit later on. Like I mentioned, we got a packed show for you. The DNC wrapped up last night. We've got some highlights, if that's the right word, from last night's presentation by the Democrats. We also have our very own Democrat, America's favorite liberal, Keith Antone, is going to join us in about an hour from right now to give his thoughts on the DNC, but more broadly and more importantly, going forward, the momentum, if any, that has been picked up by Kamala Harris and the Democrats after this week. And will they be able to carry and build on that momentum moving towards the election? So my guess is that Keith Antone is going to have a very different opinion and reaction to the DNC than I will, or that you have heard many people have on this station. So we're looking very much forward to that. Also, it's Friday afternoon, which means we'll get the weekend forecast from Steve Templeton in just about 40 minutes from now at 2:50-ish, 2:45-ish this afternoon. All-important weekend forecast from Channel 4 Chief Meteorologist Steve Templeton. We're also going to talk to Aaron Dorr from the Missouri Firearms Coalition in a few moments and talk a little Second Amendment with him. But as always, on a Friday afternoon, we start the show with the great Gabe Pfeiffer from Mike Ferguson in the Morning. Gabriel, hello.
You know what time it is.
You know what time it is. It is time to cringe, laugh, maybe cry at all the things that we saw.
A little bit of everything
from the Democrats throughout the week. Let's start with it. Emily, I'm going to go ahead and play this right now. Let's bring you some highlights from the final night last night, day 4 of the DNC. And then, Gabe, I want to get your thoughts and talk about some of the things that we saw and heard last night. Here is some highlights from last night's Democratic National Convention.
I'ma keep running 'cause the winner don't quit on themselves.
And the crowd goes wild.
The path that led me here in recent weeks was no doubt unexpected. But I'm no stranger to unlikely journeys. On behalf of everyone whose story could only be written in the greatest nation on earth, I accept your nomination to be President of the United States of America.
But Kamala, she cares
Elizabeth
deep down.
Warren.
And she will take on the giant corporations that are squeezing American families. Groceries, gas, housing, healthcare, taxes, abortion. Trust Donald Trump and JD Vance to look out for your family.
Okay, hold on. First of all, I don't know who JD Vance is, but hold on. I want to go back to this. I'm doing this on the fly, so I apologize if I didn't get this right in the right spot.
JD Vance sounds like he drinks his tea with his pinky out.
Right, dude, groceries, the economy. Well, hold on. Let me. I want to hear this list again.
Families, groceries, gas,
Groceries,
housing,
gas, housing.
healthcare, taxes, abortion. Trust Donald Trump.
That is the list. That Elizabeth Warren just gave a perfect list of all of the things that Kamala Harris and Joe Biden have failed the United States and the American people on.
Yeah.
That list is a perfect list of the things that they have destroyed, areas that they've destroyed: groceries, gas, the abortion issue, housing. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, pretty much. Now she
amazing.
only missed international relations and immigration. If she had those two in addition, yeah, that would be the sum total of all the things that have gotten worse in the last 4 years since Donald Trump left the Oval Office.
Yeah.
It's funny. It's like, you know, we live through the Donald Trump years. You know, every time they come up with all these things, oh, Donald Trump's going to do this and
Uh-oh. I think we lost our connection with
We'll get him
Gabe.
back.
Yep. You go ahead and get Gabe back, and I'm going to play a little bit more of the highlights from last night's final night of the DNC.
Trump and JD Vance to look out for your family. I wouldn't trust them to move my couch.
We've all lived through a lot of history over the past few years. But what we do know is this. Through it all, your life won't stop. Right now, before the crisis, is when we get to choose. Why wouldn't we choose the leader who's tough, tested, and a total badass?
Everybody over here, say karma. Everybody over here, say love.
Together.
Where others push darkness, Kamala sees promise. Where others feel detachment, Kamala fosters connection. Where others want to drag us back to the past, my sister says, hold up now, we are not going back.
I promise to be a president for all Americans. You can always trust me to put country above party and self.
You can always trust me. Gabe, we got you back?
Yeah. And absolutely, that's a lie. That's a total lie, because the thing is, you know, she's been in government. That's the thing. You know, when we compare records, and that's one of the things that Donald Trump has on everybody. He only has 4 years in government. You know,
that's true.
His entire career has been doing other things, but he has 4 years in government. And in those 4 years, he accomplished more for the American people than most every other career politician who's been bad-mouthing him this entire time. I mean, Biden has had 50 years to do something positive for America, and he didn't manage to do it. And Kamala Harris has had several years in California politics, in Congress, and then as the vice president, and then everything she worked on is an absolute mess.
Absolutely. A couple of the things that happened there. First, somebody did those beautiful little girls dirty, because any DJ knows that you got to make it make sense. You wouldn't do you say comma I say la, or this side say comma. It's either you say Kamala, this side say Harris, Kamala Harris, or president. You say president, you say Harris. Like what? Comma la. First, so get some rhythm, Democrats.
They were attempting to correct the record on how to properly pronounce her name.
Oh, is that what that was?
I think that was because most people say Kamala and it's Kamala
or Kamala.
Well, yeah, some people say Kamala, things like that. Yeah, so based on how her husband pronounced her name, and based on how I've been hearing it lately, it's Kamala, and basically the emphasis is on a different syllable. So, so the way I remember it though, is Kamala has the same sort of feel in the mouth as communist.
It does.
So
that's a good way to remember it.
That's the best way, I think, to remember her name. Kamala, the communist.
That's a perfect little device to remember. Yeah. That's well done.
Also true.
Yeah, also true. So we mentioned that. Also, I don't know if you heard the Elizabeth Warren big laugh line at the end where she said that she wouldn't trust Donald Trump and JD Vance to move her couch. I don't even know.
JD Fancy.
What does that mean? I wouldn't trust him to move my couch. Then they're
so weird.
They went crazy for that line. At best, it's a bad groaner of a joke.
Yeah. Right? You kind of get the slight turn of the corner of the mouth. It's like, okay, all right, I see what you did there.
So also,
but yeah, that's not a knee slapper right there.
Right. So we also mentioned that with Elizabeth Warren, she went down that list of issues.
Yes.
Acting like, the message was these are all the problems that she's going to fix, when the truth
wouldn't trust Donald Trump with this.
I wouldn't trust JD Vance with this. But it was actually a list of all of the issues, all of the areas that they have destroyed, that they have failed the country in the last 4 years. And then another list we heard was from Michigan Governor Gretchen Whitmer, who said, when you go to choose at the ballot box this November, why wouldn't you choose the person who's tough and tested? She's talking about Kamala, but again, I think that they are their list is not what they think it is. If you were to put those two candidates next to each other, I mean, tested, Donald Trump was president, so he has been tested as president certainly more than Kamala. Like him or not, tough. I mean, he's not a pushover. He's tough to deal with. And then she also said that her other word on the list was badass, but which is just dumb.
No, she is not.
Yeah,
she doesn't count.
Yeah. Anybody that if you gotta call somebody a badass, or to remind people you're a badass, then that's
probably not.
You're probably not. But again, I think the lists that they used last night were backfired. I think it's exactly the opposite of what they thought it was going to be. But overall, Gabe, what do you think about the momentum of the party? We're going to talk to Keith Antone in a little less than an hour from now, America's favorite liberal. I'm going to ask him the same question. I bet I'm going to get a much different answer. But do you believe that Kamala Harris and the Democrats have connected with more voters this week throughout the DNC? Do you feel like they have more momentum coming out of the convention than they did going in? What's the state of the party right now?
Well, I think they're obviously going to get the post convention bump that every political party gets after every convention. But I think what's really going to happen is when the American people get a hold of, let's say, her economic policy, which I think is possibly the most disturbing and destructive policy I've ever heard a president run on for a major party. I think once they get their hands around that, it'll probably take a nosedive. And that's assuming that the American people are actually, wise enough to see what's behind all of that. Because the one thing that we Mike and I were talking about this morning, the capital gains tax increase and the unrealized capital gains tax idea That's a great way to destroy every retirement account in America.
I heard you guys talking about that this morning. I couldn't recommend enough for people to go back and check out the podcast if you missed the morning show this morning, Mike Ferguson in the morning, to hear that conversation. And it was something I was, as I'm hearing you guys talk about it, I want to learn more. And I think that people need to know and learn more about that issue and the, potential impact it has on the future. And I was thinking I got to, get somebody like David Ryan from Cadre Asset Management on the show to talk about that issue, because there's some really big permanent damage that could be done by electing Kamala Harris. I mean, we are on a destructive path, are we not, Gabe? But in so many areas. And while there always will be another election 4 years away, I can't believe, we say it every day, I can't believe where we're at. I can't believe the things that we have allowed. I can't believe where we are at in so many areas across the country now. 4 years from now, if this is allowed to continue, it could be very permanent, long-lasting damage.
Yeah, I mean, one of the things that we try to do is stay away from the hyperbole, like, oh my gosh, if we lose this one, this is going to be the last election in America and things like that, and that can feel very hyperbolic, and I think largely it is, but the problem is every democracy that has fallen, every democratic system has fallen, had a last election. And nobody knew that it was the last election.
Yeah. And it's bad. Things are bad. I have a story here. Hopefully we'll have time to get to it a little bit. There is the Paralympics is happening now in Paris. Now that the Olympics is over, and there is a 50-year-old track and field sprinter from Italy who is just a dude. He's just a man. He's a man. He's a man that was extremely accomplished as a male track and field athlete. He's now 50, so he can't compete with the men anymore.
Right.
So now he's setting records in the women's division.
In the women's division of the Paralympics.
Because he has he has an eye condition. He's not blind, but I guess he's legally blind.
He's not missing one leg.
I was watching him conduct interviews, and he I guess he's got some kind of.
He's slightly colorblind in one eye, and that counts as a counts as a Paralympian.
He's just a guy, like
in the women's division. Now.
He's not even trying to hide it. But I mean, like, he's a guy. He's got some eyeliner on, and that's like about it. That's about it.
He's about as female as your average rock star in the 1980s.
Yeah. So we've got a man beating up a woman in the Olympics. We've got another man in the Paralympics, setting records. I mean, it's not high. I agree with you about hyperbole and the drama of it all. This is not hyperbole. If we're at this stage right now, if we're in a world that we're allowing this and covering for this, just look at the Middle East situation, the anti-Semitism. I mean, did you ever think that you would see such
just blatant anti-Semitism?
Yes. Like anti-Semitism,
it's crazy.
Being promoted and defended in the national media and by politicians. I mean, if this is where we're at now, 4 years from now, if we stay on this path, I don't even want to think about where we could be, and that's not hyperbole.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, look, I'm not going to go so far as to say this may be our last election here, but I'm stocking up on long-term food and ammo. So
I don't think it'll be
FYI.
the last election, but I do think think that we could do some very permanent or at least very long-lasting damage to this country if we don't change course right now.
Yeah.
All right, we've got more to talk about as we go through the afternoon. Gabe Pfeiffer from Mike Ferguson in the Morning is with us for the next few segments. And we are going to talk about, I was going to do this in this segment. We ran out of time. Get ready to barf. I don't know if you I don't know if you saw the Washington Post column about Doug Emhoff. The second gentleman Kamala
okay.
Harris's husband.
Right.
That he is the progressive sex symbol.
Oh no!
Of today's time.
No!
And the modern female fantasy. This is
really?
a real article. Yes, Emily's gonna.
Ew.
That's a real article, a real column that was posted today that you can read in the Washington Post, and it's a lot.
I feel like this story is going to count as assault.
We're gonna get into that. We're gonna tell you all about that.
Can't sue the Washington Post for
I
writing
can't
it.
sue the Washington Post for assaulting me with this.
It gets as bad as you think it gets. It's or maybe even worse.
Right in the ear hole.
Whatever you're thinking, it's probably even worse.
Oh no.
We're also going to talk to our friend Aaron Dorr from the Missouri Firearms Coalition. He is going to join us he's going to have to deal with that story because he's going to be part of that conversation. We're also going to talk about the Second Amendment and gun issues and what he thought about the Democrats this week and how much the Second Amendment and our gun rights are going to play in this upcoming presidential election. So that's all next here on Colombo Company on 119.94.1 News Talk STL.
Hey friends, Jamie Allman joining the team at News Talk STL to bring back some common sense to a radio near you. Starting Monday, August 26th, the Allman Report, weeknights 8 to 10. News Talk STL, your home for common sense radio.
Hey, we just mentioned him, David Ryan, Cadre Asset Management. As Gabe and I were just discussing, these financial issues that are, play a huge role in your life. If you are a young family just starting out, it's so important to make sure that you are on the right financial path. Obviously, if you're closing in on retirement, so important to have somebody on your side that can make sure you are heading down the right path there as well. If you're thinking about opening business or if you are a business owner, David Ryan and his team at Cadre Asset Management can help you on your financial journey in all of these areas: financial planning, estate planning, retirement, investments, business financing. They do it all. And if you don't have somebody on your side when it comes to being on the right financial path for your future today, more than ever, you are risking, your family's future. It's so important to make sure that you have somebody like David Ryan to keep you on that path and help you through these crazy times. Learn about how Cadre Asset Management and David Ryan can help you secure your financial future now by following Cadre Asset Management on Facebook, or just go to their website, cadreassetmgmt.com.
Cadre Asset Management is a Missouri-based independent advisory firm licensed under and securities and investment advisory services offered through Founders Financial Securities, LLC, a registered investment advisor, member FINRA SIPC.
Parents want more choices rather than fewer when it comes to their children's education. And now some Missouri parents will have one more option to get their children the best education available. Low-income students and those with disabilities in Missouri's largest communities can now apply for an Empowerment Scholarship Account, or ESA. With an ESA, the money the state would normally pay to your child's public school goes into an account that you control. You can use the funds for private school tuition, online learning programs, a private tutor, or other approved uses. You can tailor your child's education. For too long, Missouri officials have operated on the mistaken notion that parents only need one choice. They're assigned public school based on their address. ESAs put parents in charge. It's school choice at its best, with money following the students to the place that best fits their needs. Learn more at showmeinstitute.org. This Show Me Minute has been brought to you by Show Me Institute and Show Me Opportunity.
Hi guys, Dana Define with the Next Gen here. Did you know that in 2021, Missouri increased the state gas tax by 2.5 cents per gallon per year for the next 5 years? Currently, the refundable tax is 10 cents for every gallon of gas purchased. Make sure you get your reimbursement with the No Mo Gas Tax app. The No Mo Gas Tax app makes all of this data collection, retention, and refund filing simple and easy, making sure you're reimbursed on your mileage. For more about this, go to nomogastax.com. That's nomogastax.com, or you can download the app in the Apple Store or on Android.
News Talk STL.
First thing in the morning and pretty much all day.
Live and local. 101.9 and 94.1. News Talk STL.
Welcome back to Colombo and Company on 101.9 94.1 News Talk STL. Tony Colombo here in studio with producer Emily and lots of company on a Friday afternoon. Our buddy Ken Williams from the Vic Borselli Show, usually a part of this segment, but Ken has been out for a few days this week taking care of some family stuff with his kids and going to college and all of that kind of stuff. Vic will be back, or Ken will be back with Vic a couple days from now, middle of next week. So I hope he's enjoying himself. We have Gabe Pfeiffer on the line with us as we do every Friday, and joining us back on the show with us is Aaron Dorr from the Missouri Firearms Coalition. Also, brand new show, Shall Not Be Infringed, every Sunday night, 9 p.m. here on News Talk STL. You can hear Aaron talking about gun rights, gun laws, everything surrounding the Second Amendment. Aaron, as always, really appreciate your time this afternoon. Thanks for being here.
Thanks a lot for the shout out, man.
Yeah, you bet. So, we're just recapping some of the things that happened last night at the DNC and the week, there at the convention in Chicago. And we look forward to this election, and we look forward to, things happening here in the state of Missouri and for our listeners in Illinois as well. How much do you think right now the Second Amendment in general is a top priority for voters? I feel like this issue has been brought to the forefront more than ever in the last, 4 to 8 years. Is it still one of the top priorities that is going to motivate voters one way or another, in your opinion, in this election?
I think it's certainly in the top 5 at a minimum, maybe in the top 3. Obviously, border security, the foreign invasion is perhaps the top issue right now for many voters across the country. And of course, the economy is always right in there. But immediately underneath there, you have issues like the Second Amendment, because, for the first time in a very long time now, perhaps ever in this country, the Democrats are not trying to hide, not even at all, what their agenda ultimately looks like when it comes to gun rights. They want to destroy every single facet of our Second Amendment freedoms. And if that means nuking the filibuster, they intend to do exactly that if Kamala Harris is in the White House. And if that means having to expand the Supreme Court to get more liberal judges on there to overturn the Bruin decision, overturn the Heller decision, overturn McDonald v. Chicago, that's also part of their playbook. So yes, if you care about gun rights, this is a top item as we approach November.
Gabe, I know that one of your favorite things to do is go to the gun range and shoot. So I know you are a big, obviously, supporter of the Second Amendment. Do you agree? Do you feel like, we have seen over the last few years, a steep rise in first-time gun owners and, things like that, people sort of embracing their Second Amendment rights and relying on their Second Amendment rights more than we have in the past? Do you feel like that momentum is continuing, and that this is something that is going to weigh heavily on voters in this election?
Well, it's been kind of weird in that you kind of get both ways with a lot of people. People are going out especially in these urban areas, they're going out and getting their first firearm. They're like, I don't feel safe because of X, Y, and Z. But all of these issues, are kind of due to the people that they elect, and the people that they prefer at the ballot box seem to be the ones who want to prevent them from exercising their Second Amendment rights. So it's a kind of a mixed bag. You get people who are personally trying to exercise their rights, but politically are expressing support for people who don't have any respect for those rights in general. So it's a kind of a weird thing.
So, Aaron, you deal with this like literally in person in places like Jeff City, when bills are being made and laws are being determined. A typical response to somebody, if you say that, you're trying, you want to protect the Second Amendment, or, you're a fan of the Second Amendment, they'll say, oh, nobody's trying to take away the Second Amendment. You don't need to have a bazooka, and you don't need to have these weapons of war and, a tank parked in your in your driveway. That's all we're trying to get, rid of. Nobody's actually coming for your Second Amendment rights. What's the truth behind that? And what have you seen happen, even just right here in the state of Missouri and other states across the country? That is the agenda behind the progressive left. What are they, what is their goal when it comes to the Second Amendment?
I mean, to me, all you have to do is read the DNC platform that was unveiled, on Monday of this week, or maybe it was on Tuesday. They unveiled their new platform. It is a very detailed point-by-point breakdown of their intention to crush the Second Amendment. They will, if they have the chance to do so, implement a national gun registry, which is required for future gun confiscation. They will ban the sale and transfer of AR-15s and hundreds of similar firearms. It's in their own platform. They're going to ban magazines over 10 rounds capacity, and the list goes on and on. National red flag laws. They're going to repeal the current law that shields gun manufacturers from bogus civil liability lawsuits. They're going to weaponize the CDC and the NIH even more into straight up gun control think tanks. So they're not hiding their agenda.
Yeah.
So when some leftist in Jeff City tries to tell me that, I pretty much respond with shrieks of laughter. I howl at them with laughter because they're either A, they're so dumb as to not know what their party actually professes, or B, they know exactly what their party professes. They're just simply trying to buy time to implement that. Either way, we're not going to let it happen here in Missouri.
That is Aaron Doerr with the Missouri Firearms Coalition, also the host of Shall Not Be Infringed, which you can hear every Sunday night, 9 p.m. right here on News Talk STL. You mentioned red flag laws, and for people that have listened to me for a long time, you know that this is a hot button, big deal to me. This is something we've been talking about for years that I still, for years of it being in the news, I still don't think it's talked about enough. I don't think enough people on the right explain what it is and warn against it. We've even seen states that have Republican majorities like we have in Missouri. We've seen them pass red flag laws, which absolutely baffles me. This is a dangerous tool that I think that the left is trying to implement as much as they can across the country. Do you see that being a priority for them as like I do, Aaron? And also, can you just explain the basics of what a red flag law is and why it is so dangerous?
Yeah, sure. As far as what a red flag law is, the short version is that someone who doesn't like you, maybe it's like an ex-spouse or a vengeful coworker who didn't get the promotion you got, whatever it is,
neighbor you don't get along with,
into the cops since, your commie neighbor who doesn't like your Missouri Firearms Coalition decal in the back of your truck. Anybody can call you in like Illinois, for example, right now, and they can say, hey, this guy's dangerous. And when the cops get the report, they go and take that to the judge. And if the judge agrees, and let's be honest, the judges almost always agree, they issue a seizure order. You come home from work one day, your front door has a note on it. And of course, the lock is broke. Hey, we had a search warrant. We hit your house, your guns, your ammo, your magazines, they're all gone. And you've never been charged with a crime, never been indicted, never been arrested,
never got to face your accuser.
Never even
court of law.
Yeah, never even were told that you were charged with anything. It is the antithesis. It is Gabe. It is exactly the opposite of what the most basic premise of the United States of America is about. Innocent until proven guilty. These red flag laws are exactly the opposite. You are guilty until you prove your innocence, and it's very difficult to prove your innocence. At least it's certainly very difficult to do it in any kind of timely fashion with these red flag laws.
It's like certifying illegal search and seizure.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. And Aaron, we see this. I think that, if there's one thing the Democrats are good at, it's labeling things and, like red flag laws. Oh, this is something that we can take advantage of the red flags that we see, because I, like so many others, are so sick of, like, anytime there's a shooting, everybody in that person's life goes, yeah, if there's one person we knew that was going to do something like that, it's them. And then you find out that they've got all these social media posts about how they're going to go do what they're going to do. And it's like, how did we not see that? Well, hey, a red flag law. They take advantage of these red flags that are shown by these potential shooters. So they're very good at labeling things, and we see Republicans even falling for it or going along with it in states across the country.
Exactly.
Is that because those Republicans are selling out the conservative voters, or do they just are they just not doing the research and not understanding what they're voting for?
No, I mean, speaking for Missouri in particular, I mean, there's no lack of information. Our members have pummeled the careers of people into the dirt in the primaries every couple of years here. So everyone knows in Jeff City exactly how pernicious their red flag law is. But we still have Republicans. I want to say it again. We have Republicans, not just Democrats, who are fine with the idea of some form of red flag law. Senator Lincoln Huff from Springfield, who was trying to be our lieutenant governor, he supports red flag laws. And just to be clear, in February, right after the Super Bowl parade shooting in Kansas City, our incoming Speaker of the House, John Patterson from Kansas City, was openly floating the idea of a red flag law in response to what a criminal did in Kansas City. So I think we are always only one mass shooting away, God forbid, here in Missouri, from seeing the rhinos in Jeff City at least try to make a concerted push to pass a red flag law. And that's why you've got to have organizations that are actually in Missouri, that actually focus on Jefferson City, not just national groups that fundraise off of Missouri but don't show up in Missouri. You have to have organizations on the ground in Jeff City to send a message when people like that float those ideas that there will be a price to be paid if you push gun control here in Missouri.
That is Aaron Doerr from the Missouri Firearms Coalition. If you want to find a group that will fight all of those things that Aaron was just laying out there, Missouri Firearms Coalition is one of the best. And like we mentioned, shall not be infringed every Sunday night at 9 p.m. Aaron, I know you have another interview that you need to be getting to here in just a moment. So before we let you go, just remind folks about Missouri Firearms Coalition, how people can learn more, and how people can join the cause if they are so inclined.
Well, you phrased it pretty well yourself, Tony. But yeah, the situation is pretty simple. National organizations almost never show up in committee or for votes in Jeff City. They're not working the halls of the Capitol. The Missouri Firearms Coalition does. And then heaven help us, at election time, the national groups give pieces of rhino filth like Lincoln Huff an A rating, because despite the fact that he's openly trolling for gun control. So if you care about keeping Missouri free, keeping Missouri red, you want to safeguard gun rights here in Missouri, get involved in the Missouri Firearms Coalition. It's MissouriFirearmsCoalition.org.
Aaron Doerr, really appreciate your time this afternoon, and we will talk to you again very soon, and be listening this Sunday night,
Tony.
9 p.m. Yep, thanks you.
Thanks, Aaron.
Take care.
Have a good one. So Gabe, he had to get to another interview, so he got off the hook. You didn't.
Yeah. Well, here's something I was thinking about too. Is if you want to know what our country would look like, what a Western democratic republic would look like without prolific gun ownership, you just look at Australia and you look at England.
Mm-hmm.
In Australia, during the COVID craziness, they literally built camps to house people in. Everybody got these white uniforms and a bracelet, and they were being chased down for wanting to take a walk outside of the fence. They were coming to their little apartment space and putting up TikTok videos about how happy they were that they got picked for the lottery to go outside. And then you have in England, people are getting put in jail, not just jail, but put in prison for like 20 years, or not 20 years, 20 months for Facebook posts. People are getting multiple months in prison for free speech in England, which means free speech doesn't exist in England. And that's what happens when the Second Amendment rights goes away. Your First Amendment right is right behind it.
That's exactly right. It's so important that we know that and keep talking about it. All right. Aaron had to go, and we only have a couple minutes left here before we get to the forecast with Steve Templeton. So we got to do this story about Doug Emhoff real quick.
Oh no.
Doug Emhoff is a progressive. Doug Emhoff is the husband of Kamala Harris. Is a progressive sex symbol and modern female fantasy, according to a column in the Washington Post that was published today. Catherine Rampell, columnist with the Washington Post, published a piece today that says, "Move over Ryan Gosling." What?
What?
What? Was it Ryan Gosling, the sex symbol of the left, of the liberal woman? I don't know. Anyway, the move over Ryan Gosling,
Probably from the Barbie movie.
The modern female fantasy is embodied by the man who might soon become our first gentleman. Okay, so since Governor Tim Walz joined the Democratic ticket, media figures and Harris supporters have argued that Walz and Imhoff embrace a more modern version of masculinity that men should aspire to. And leaving his prestigious law career to support Vice President Harris after the 2020 presidential race, Imhoff showed that he was the kind of, quote, fantasy man women dream about, Rampell claimed in her column. Here's some more. Quote, Imhoff appears to be a genuine mensch with an impressive career. He's smitten with his wife and supports her ambitions, and that is obvious from his convention speech and their sweet interactions on the campaign trail. But most important for this sexy sobriquet, Imhoff is secure enough with his own masculinity to sometimes prioritize his wife's ambitions over his own. He loves his job, but he loves his wife more. He knows that supporting one's family is about more than financial support, and that is temporarily setting aside his own professional ego makes him no less of a man. What a hunk.
Wow.
Did he sleep with the babysitter, Gabe?
Sure did.
He slept with the babysitter. Cheated on his last wife.
Hey, these are modern relationships, Tony. You have to get with the times. Polyamory is perfectly valid family formation according to the I'm sorry, I couldn't these people are crazy.
Progressive sex symbol.
Yeah.
What is Doug Imhoff? And Tim Walz. Tim Walz made it in there too. I mean, what? This is weird. I mean, I had an accident, right? I'm in a hospital. I had an accident. I'm in a hospital bed somewhere, and this is all a dream, right?
Right. This is your current.
Cannot be real.
Yeah. You're in a coma right now, so this is all just a crazy fever dream. Yeah. Oh, the new leftist definition of masculinity. Yeah,
that's it.
50 Shades of Gay.
Okay, we need a break in the form of the weekend forecast. Oh, is he not calling? Oh, well, we got a couple minutes. He'll call in a couple minutes. We're going to talk to Steve Templeton, chief meteorologist over at Channel 4, and get you that weekend forecast. And we're going to talk to America's favorite liberal, Keith Antone, and we're going to do it all next here on Colombo and Company on 101.9 and 94.1 News Talk STL.
Tim Jones and Chris Arps in the afternoon.
At 4:45, a Lutheran pastor on Tim Walz's wacky church. And at 5:25, Dr. Aaron Hedlund on Kamala's missing jobs report.
Tim Jones and Chris Arps. Weekdays at 4 on News Talk STL.
Tim Jones here. I'm with Eric from Newsteaders, Newsteaders Fine Jewelers. Eric, Newsteaders has been around since 1961. Tell us the story.
Well, Richard started this 62 years ago, and we've stayed a local family-owned store since then. We've actually got 3 generations of Newsteaders working in the store. Richard, his wife, his daughter, and his granddaughter, and we all love what we do. We're kind of a St. Louis family tradition, and we do a lot of unique and one-of-a-kind custom pieces, as well as repairs. There's basically nothing that we can't do, and all of our work is done on site, so you can feel secure knowing that your jewelry never leaves, which is unusual now. And we can computer generate images of custom pieces if you want to go custom. We can take that old jewelry that you're not wearing, and we can turn that into something new that you absolutely love.
Newsteaders, a St. Louis jewelry tradition since 1961. Stop by and find out why. 2961 Daughtery Ferry Road, or on the internet, wowdiamonds.com for Newsteaders Fine Jewelers.
News Talk STL is proud to have Doug Voss of Safe Money Radio as part of our lineup each week. Doug has been a staple on St. Louis radio for many years as one of the leading financial experts in the area. Doug and Safe Money Radio is on 3 times every weekend, but in case you miss anything, you can check it all out at DougVossSafeMoneyRadio.com or call 844-676-SAFE. That's 844-676-7233. Doug Voss is a registered representative. Securities offered through DHL Securities, LLLP. Member FINRA and SIPC.
Steve Templeton's Weekend Forecast, brought to you by Connor Roofing. You can count on Connor for all your roofing needs. Visit ConnorRoofing.com. That's CONNER Roofing.com.
Welcome back to Colombo Company on 101.9 94.1 News Talk STL. Going to get back into some of the headlines of the day, including RFK Jr. officially suspending his presidential campaign and supporting Donald Trump. So we're going to talk about that. We're also going to talk to America's favorite liberal, Keith Antone, Democratic political strategist, is going to join us just after 3 o'clock. So in just about 10 minutes from now, 10, 12 minutes from now, we're going to talk to Keith Antone. Looking forward to that. But first, we need a break from it all and hopefully get some good news from Channel 4 Chief Meteorologist Steve Templeton, who joins us on the line now for the all-important weekend forecast. Steve, we have been on a roll. I know it can't. I know it can't continue. This is too good to be true. But hopefully it doesn't get too bad. How are we looking for the next few days?
Let me just say, summer is not over. Okay. That is my forecast, basically.
It is August in St. Louis, so right, we definitely got some kind of treat there, but not normal.
I'll tell you, if your pool's still open, you're gonna love the weather for the next several days because it's heating up. Here we go. We're getting a little taste of it today, but the weekend's even hotter. So tonight, low down to 73. A high of 93, partly to, at times, mostly cloudy sky Saturday, but it'll be dry Saturday. And then Sunday, a high of 93. There is a slight chance for some rain, mainly in the morning, and a better chance west of St. Louis. I think the rain chances are small, mainly a hot weekend. And Monday and Tuesday, though, I need to let you know, are going to be around 97 to 98. So upper 90s, heat index over 100 by early next week. So the heat just keeps cranking up.
Yeah, and I mean, again, it is August in St. Louis. It's supposed to be hot. Is it supposed to be, how much of an anomaly and how below have we been? Like where should we be right now? Because I think we got super spoiled there with this weather that we've seen. Oh, did we lose Steve? Oh, we lost Steve. Oh, that's all right. We got the important stuff there. If we get reconnected with Steve here in the next couple minutes, we will finish that conversation. But the important stuff is Saturday and Sunday, both dry, but definitely getting hot again. He said a high of 93 on both Saturday and Sunday. And then on Monday and Tuesday, we are back into the upper 90s. So summer is back in St. Louis. Oh, do we have Steve back on the line? Oh, great. Steve's back with us. Sorry about that. Gotcha. Yeah. Sometimes the technology just doesn't want to cooperate. But I was just asking you, after we went through this really nice period of time, just to kind of get an idea of where we are supposed to be, because it is, like we said, it is August in St. Louis. It's supposed to be hot. How much of a anomaly and how below average were we these last several days?
I think that's a really good point because it's supposed to be hot, but the normal high is like 87 to 88. Okay. So that's like today, right? Mm-hmm. So we're going from way below normal, what we've been enjoying the past few days, to now well above normal. It's like, what is normal when you don't really hit normal? Right. You're above it or below it.
And is that how it is that, that's a really good point. Whole other, and kind of a whole separate point, especially in a area like St. Louis. Is the average because it's such a up and down situation that, it's sometimes it's way hotter than it should be or way cooler than it should be in any season of the year in St. Louis. And then there just happens to be an average, or is it really like we're consistently supposed to be around in the upper 80s right now? Does that question make any sense?
It does. It does. In fact, I'm going to go into the weeds a little bit here. So hopefully your listeners don't black out when I talk about math here. But there's something called a box and whisker plot. And so what that does is the box is anything in the box is the top 25 to 75%. So that's like the majority of where your temperatures are. So I'm just going to make this up because I don't know what the numbers are. But let's say the 25 percentile for today's average is 82 and the 75 percentile is 92. So that's really your range, right? So you get the normals 88, but the reality is there's a bigger range. And I think that would be kind of an interesting study on our temperatures. But that also gets more complicated, and a lot of people don't want to hear that. They just want one number to kind of rely on.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Because it just seems like there are so many times, just in this conversation that we have all year round, every Friday afternoon, that we are either talking about temperatures, and again, no matter what time of year it is, we're either talking about temperatures that are, a lot colder than they're supposed to be right now, or a lot warmer than they're supposed to be right now. It's like we're never just like in the average, like, we have had some really nice consistency here these last few days, but obviously below the average temperature. So it's just interesting, all of the ups and downs.
It is interesting. Weather. Lots of ups and downs, and helps keep me in business in St. Louis. That's for sure.
Last question about this weekend. You said 93 for both Saturday and Sunday, dry for both days. Is the humidity back in a big way? Because that was another thing that was so nice about this last week or so.
Yeah, it is. It's not in what I call the miserable category. It's just below that in the steamy category. But 93 Saturday will feel like 95. It may be a touch less humid in the afternoon Sunday, so 93 feels like 94. So it adds a degree or two. I think you'll notice it more Monday, Tuesday, when 97 has a heat index of 102 on Monday, for instance. So, it's going to just be a little more. It will be steamy, but it'll be a little more dramatic humidity on Monday and Tuesday, for that matter.
My kids started school this week. That's so many, did across the area.
Yeah,
and we were putting sweatshirts and jackets on in the early morning hours. I don't think we're going to need that on Monday.
Thursday morning, we were 2 degrees away from the record low. It was 57.
Wow, there you go. Yeah.
Well,
I think you can put the jacket back on the hanger for a little while after this weekend. Or
go in the closet.
So there you go. Steve Templeton, Chief Meteorologist over at Channel 4. As always, really appreciate your time. Not only on Friday afternoons with this segment, but all week long. You and your team there at Channel 4, all the help you give us, keeping everybody informed about the weather. Thanks so much.
My pleasure. Absolutely my pleasure. Take care, Tony. Have a good weekend.
You too. Great stuff there from Channel 4, Chief Meteorologist Steve Templeton. All right, we are going to get back into some political discussions. Coming off the DNC, how much momentum has been picked up by the Democrats? How much of that is happening here locally? We're going to talk about it all with America's favorite liberal, Keith Antone, next.
For over half a century, Joe Bacardi's has been serving up a little taste of Italy right here in St. Louis. Family owned since 1971, we're more than just a restaurant. We're a local landmark. With 4 convenient locations, we offer something for everyone, from our famous pizzas to mouth-watering entrees and delicious salads. Dine in with a glass of wine or grab a quick carryout. Whether it's dinner for 2 or catering for a crowd, Joe Bacardi's has you covered. Visit joebacardis.com and join our loyalty program. Joe Bacardi's, where every meal ends with buon appetito.
I'm so tired of my water smelling like rotten eggs. Ironbound. It makes my clothes and home smell, and my sink and faucet look dirty. I'm calling Jones Air and Water Treatment for their solution to this pollution.
Jones Air and Water Treatment has a solution to your pollution. Call now for your free water analysis at 636-899-1040 and live with clean, great-tasting water. That's 636-899-1040 or joneswater.com on the web. Call us now.
Hello, fans of the paranormal. I'm Frankie, host of the newest show on News Talk STL, On a Garage. And we'll be discussing everything paranormal, from ghosts, demons, hauntings, and aliens to Skinwalker, Bigfoot, fairies, and the Chupacabra. Every Saturday night between 9 p.m. and 10 p.m., me and Jeremy will discuss mysterious events in St. Louis and surrounding areas, including gateway families and unsolved true crimes. That's right. It's all right here exclusively on News Talk STL from 9 p.m. to 10 p.m. every Saturday night.
Dive into adventure with Great American Divers. We're your local veteran-owned scuba center offering PADI certification courses, equipment repairs, and dive travel opportunities. From beginners to experts, we got you covered. Kids can join our SEAL Team classes, and we even host pool parties. Our experienced staff is passionate about teaching, and we're the only center in the area with our own indoor heated pool. Great American Divers on Central School Road in St. Charles. Visit greatamericandivers.com. Great American Divers, where adventure runs deep.
KLGY HD3 Clayton, K270BW Belfast, KNBS Bowling Green.
This is News Talk STL at 1019, 94.1, and always streaming at newstalkstl.com.
This hour from townhall.com. I'm John Scott. Independent presidential candidate Robert F. Kennedy Jr. speaking in Phoenix in the last hour has suspended his campaign and, as expected, has endorsed Donald Trump for president. RFK said the Democratic Party does not have the values that he grew up with.
As you know, I left that party in October because it had departed so dramatically from the core values that I grew up with. It had become the party of war, censorship, corruption, big pharma, big tech, big ag, and big money.
Kennedy spoke of meeting with Mr. Trump.
In a series of long, intense discussions, I was surprised to discover that we are aligned on many key issues. In those meetings, he suggested that we join forces as a unity party.
Kennedy will seek to remove his name from the ballot in battleground states because he believes his presence in the race could help Democratic nominee Kamala Harris. He says his supporters can continue to back him in the majority of states where they're unlikely to sway the outcome. Also at townhall.com, White House National Security Spokesman John Kirby says the Gaza ceasefire negotiations continue.
There has been progress made. We need now for both sides to come together and work towards implementation.
Israel has agreed to what has been presented. Hamas reportedly not totally behind the ceasefire deal. And on Wall Street, after an announcement today that interest rate cuts could start next month, stocks have been in record territory. The Dow finishing up 471 points, the NASDAQ adding 258. More at townhall.com.
Hello, this is Franklin Graham. Does it feel like the world is coming apart at the seams? It does to me. What do we do as Christians? Do we just sit back and let it happen, just waiting for Christ to return? And we just sit on our hands? No, we don't do that. He's called us to action. He's called us to take the gospel to the ends of the earth. And that's what we do. As Samaritans first we go. And we go in Jesus' name, whether it's with a truck full of shoebox gifts or an army of volunteers ready to help wherever they can, or whether we fill up one of our cargo planes and respond to the far corners of this earth. Wherever there is a need, we go and we help in Jesus' name. Don't just sit back and wait for Jesus to return. You have one life. Make it count.
You can be a part of taking the gospel to the ends of the earth. To find out more about Samaritan's Purse and how you can be involved, go to SamaritansPurse.org. That's SamaritansPurse.org.
From the Michaels Flooring Outlet Weather Center.
I'm First Alert meteorologist Kristen Cornett with your forecast. Mostly sunny and hot today with a high of 90 degrees. Mostly cloudy overnight will drop to 74. For your Saturday, mostly sunny with a high of 93. Partly cloudy Saturday nights will drop to 72. And then mostly sunny on Sunday with a high of 93. Now there is a 20% chance for a few showers and thunderstorms, mainly Sunday morning. And I think those should stay just west of the St. Louis metropolitan area. That's your First Alert forecast. I'm meteorologist Kristen Cornell.
This hour of News Talk STL is brought to you by Rodney and Jen Wallner and the entire Wallner home selling team at Berkshire Hathaway. Call them today at 314-810-SOLD. 314-810-SOLD.
Fox News commentary.
New York City will launch an STD outreach program for the uninsured and illegal immigrants. I'm Tommy Lahren. More next.
Hey, Donald Trump Jr. here. Biden is dead set to fulfill his agenda before leaving office. Translation, more money printing and soaring inflation. Is gold the answer to protect your savings and retirement? To find out, get a free info kit from Birch Gold Group by texting the word SHELTER to 989-898. Don't let inflation wreck your IRA or 401k. Act now to secure your future. Text SHELTER to the number 989-898 for your free info kit from Birch Gold. Paid for by Birch Gold Group.
New York Post reports New York City is set to launch an STD outreach program for illegal immigrants and the uninsured. This need for more outreach education and services is due to a health department noted spike in STD cases in the last year or so. The spike coincides with the mass migrant arrival into the Big Apple, but I'm sure it's just a coincidence that syphilis rose 36% among women and gonorrhea jumped 11% among men in 2022. I'm all for STD prevention education, but it really begs the question, can New York City afford all these special programs programs. They've already spent $5 billion on the migrant crisis, and the tab is still open. Food, housing, education, public safety, and now STD outreach. It's like an all-you-can-eat buffet of special perks afforded to people who did not earn it or pay for it. At this rate, New York City will be bankrupt in no time. I'm Tommy Lahren, and you can watch my show, Tommy Lahren is Fearless, at Outkick.com.
The news and talk
Minnesota Governor Tim Walz
that matters to St. Louis.
The pluses would be executive experience. He was also in Congress.
He's a very liberal man. This is 101.9 and 94.1 News Talk STL.
So every Monday afternoon, you hear us talk to Mike McCleary from Intervine. He is our tech expert here on Colombo and Company. And Intervine is just an awesome success story, great local success story, local family-owned business that makes the best lanterns, flashlights, and headlamps on the market and across the board. Like some pretty, heavy duty, big time stuff, like with the Monster 2000 lumen waterproof lantern and the self-defense flashlight. They just are awesome. awesome products. And if you're an outdoorsman and camping, things like that, they've got you covered. But even if you're just looking for a small, reliable flashlight, headlamp, lantern for the vehicle or for your home, Intervine has you covered across the board. And right now they have an awesome offer for you. All you have to do is use my name, Tony, Tony, as your promo code at intervine.com, and you'll get 25% off everything. Nothing off limits. Use it as much as you want, as many times as you'd like to. Stock up on flashlights, lanterns, headlamps, and they also make batteries in all different sizes. So if you just want to stock up on batteries for an incredible price, do it at intervine.com using my name, Tony, as your promo code. Intervine is INTERVINE. Use Tony as your promo code to get 25% off everything at intervine.com.
Free speech is alive and well in America.
Thanks for taking my call.
Right here.
You know what's going on?
Have a great awakening.
You see through the smoke screen.
It's cool to be woke.
News Talk STL.
Until it's not.
News, analysis, opinion.
There's something happening here. What it is ain't exactly clear.
Welcome back to Colombo and Company on 101.9, 94.1 News Talk STL. Diving back into some politics, some headlines, and continued reaction to the DNC this week. And we have more company over to help us do that. America's favorite liberal, the great Keith Antone, St. Louis Democratic strategist, is on the line with us. Keith, as always, really appreciate your time on a Friday afternoon, especially after a busy week like this.
Of course, for my favorite libertarian brother, because I would rather be golfing right now. but we had such a phenomenal conference convention this week. I mean, the stars came out, man. Listen, it was full of love. That was America. That was America. That makes this America's favorite liberal very, very happy. It was very inclusive. I thought they touched all the right strings. And unlike the Republican convention last month, full of hate and just, it was horrible. It was just, man, it made me throw up. And so I threw that TV out the window when after the Republican convention. But I had to go buy me a new one this week, and it's working fine. It's crystal clear. The path is set. We're going all the way to 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue.
Keith, I think what's so interesting is, can you hear me? You got me?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. We had some phone issues earlier. I wasn't sure if that we were experiencing them again. I think everything that you just said, the way that you viewed and interpreted the DNC, I think, if I was talking to a conservative, they would have said the exact same thing about the RNC, and they would have said the exact same thing you're saying about the Republicans, about the Democrats, that this past week was not inclusive. It was hateful. And it was not productive. It's just the two sides have never been further apart. I mean, and you can see it on display in both of these conventions. Do you think that this week the Democrats, even if it was a success in your eyes, do you think that they reached out and connected with voters that maybe, you're not going to, obviously, they're not going to change anybody that's a MAGA person's mind, just like, like Kamala Harris isn't going to change. Yeah, right. And just the other, and it goes the other way too. But do you think that, that what happened this week maybe connected with some voters that otherwise would not have been maybe inclined or motivated to vote for Kamala Harris? How much momentum was gained, in your opinion, this week by the Democrats?
I think it was like a missile. I think it was absolute. The only thing they needed last night was Taylor Swift and Beyonce to come out and sing a duet right before the president. Yeah, that's all they needed. That's all they needed. No, really. On a serious note, it did do. I think you're absolutely right. I think if you talk to a conservative or MAGA, they would say the exact same thing I said verbatim
about the other side. Yeah.
But what happens here is that I think it's what's needed. I was talking to the guys I play with on Friday this morning. I actually got out there this morning, about 10 or 12 of us, a mixed group of African Americans and white Americans, and some Trumpers and some non-Trumpers, right? Mm-hmm. But they all agreed who watched it that it was a pretty good showing and that they could see where it would get people excited. I think that's what conventions do. We talked about it earlier this week. I'm in the real estate business, and I went to our national convention about a month ago. Man, it got me all excited with new ideas, and I come back and I'm all, I'm ready to go. Let's sell, right? and so at the end of the day, my libertarian brother, it did exactly what it was supposed to do. Now, what I would say, one guy said this, and I can't take credit for it. He says, Keith, but was it too much too late? He said, was it too much too late? Do you think it got enough people, and she's going to get enough people to come out and vote for her? Listen, the only way she's going to get that path to the White House is if she can get white, middle-class women, okay?
Mm-hmm.
She's got the African Americans, 97% of them, except for my two sons who are Trumpers. She's got those.
I don't think it's that overwhelming. I don't think it's 97%, but your point taken. Go ahead.
It's a great deal of them. Okay, it's a great deal of them. So yes. She's got those, and she's got the women and African American women. But if she can energize the suburban moms and the young, impressionable voters from 18 to 25, those or older, or what they call the millennials.
Yeah, the ones that don't know any better. Yeah.
That's exactly why you want them, right? Right. They don't know better. Come on, man.
So, Keith, let me ask you this. One of the criticisms that I think is very valid criticism of not just the performance at the DNC this week, but the Democratic strategy in general. Now, you could argue that this strategy worked in 2020. So maybe it's very intentional. It seems to be more about Donald Trump than it does any of the issues. We have a lot of problems, but we're not talking about the problems. We're just talking about how much we hate Donald Trump. Is that on purpose? Exactly, you think? Right. Is that on purpose? And you think it's a winning strategy?
You damn right I do. Listen, let me tell you something. And this is what I told him. I said, she's going to get a whole lot of people. Hey, I ain't really fond of you, girl, but I damn sure I hate that Donald Trump. Yes, she's going to get that. That's with any election, Tony. That's what you had happen with Cory
Bush.
Bush. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I forget her name. You know I wasn't with her. That's what happened with Cory Bush and Wesley Bell.
Yeah.
They were like, hey, I don't know about Wesley, but doggone it, I sure don't want you back there. That's what my vote was.
Right,
okay?
right. So go ahead.
That's what happens. That's one of the strategies. It's not the only one. They had people up there crying on the stage, and my wife was crying with these mothers whose kids have been killed, man, by guns. And there's my wife just crying. Okay?
Yeah.
So they touched that string.
Yeah.
They had military. They did. I mean, listen, it was orchestrated very, very, very well. Now, in all fairness, I didn't watch all of the RNC as I did the DNC, as I was glued to the TV and eating my popcorn and cheering and saying the Pledge of Allegiance and God bless America. Yes, that was Americana, baby. Listen, I'm still pumped up, brother.
Well, here I want to ask you. I want to continue the momentum. You said something. We got a few minutes left here with America's favorite liberal, Keith Antone, St. Louis Democratic strategist. You said something the last time we talked. I think it was Monday. I think it was at the kickoff of the DNC. I mentioned at the very end of our conversation Tim Walz and the vice presidential pick, and you said something, and we got a lot of reaction to it. But we were out of time, so I didn't get to follow up with you. You were talking about how you were very happy with the pick of Tim Walz, and that the Pennsylvania governor Shapiro would have been the wrong choice for Democrats. After this week, after seeing Tim Walz, obviously on stage and speaking, and a lot of other people talking with and about Kamala's now vice presidential running mate, has your faith and belief in Tim Walz strengthened? And do you still think that he was the right choice and will be the right choice to help Kamala Harris in the election in November?
You doggone tootin'. From now this point on, you call him Vice President Walz, okay?
No, I'm not gonna do that.
Listen, the coach showed
I'm not gonna
up.
call him coach either.
He did what he had to do, man. He surprised even me. I didn't expect that from him. I never seen him have that much energy on all the times that I've seen him speak. He's been really pretty much kind of mono. But he came on, even his kids were surprised, man. Did you see them running out there with tears in their eyes, looking at their father like he was their superhero? Because, Dad, we've never seen you get this excited about nothing, not even Christmas. Let me tell you something. Man, I'm pumped up, buddy. I'm pumped up. We're going all the way to 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue, buddy. I'm telling you this. Hear me now and think about it later. America, especially St. Louis folks listening to this radio, we will win in November. It's going to be a close margin because Donald Trump it's going to be close, but we will win. And we will win with the people that love America and with the people that hate Donald Trump. And I think with those people that hate him will take us over the top. He's going to get 48%. He's going to get that. I give it to him. He'll get that because there's people that hate Kamala, right? They hated Joe. Oh, Sleepy Joe. And I told you Monday, and I'll say it again. If Joe Biden was the nominee, y'all were going to kick RASS. You were. You were.
Well, and we got a couple minutes left here, Keith, almost out of time. Try to rapid fire a couple last questions. And I appreciate your time as always. We will be talking to Keith a lot leading up to Election Day as we monitor all of this and react to this race as it unfolds. I'll probably ask you this every single time that we talk, at least until Election Day. Do you think ultimately Kamala Harris, do you think that ultimately Joe Biden steps down completely from the presidency before the election? Will Kamala Harris be president on Election Day in your opinion? What's your gut tell you on that? Because I think you're a strategist, and I think that's a strategic decision that the Democrats have to make. Do we put her in? Do we install her as president before the election, or do we ride with Joe until January and let the election play out as is?
Well, I tell you this, because Joe Biden, if his health continues to deteriorate, they have no other choice. Now, as a strategist, if I was the one behind it, I would certainly do it, because then she rides on the history of becoming the first African-American woman president, number one, because Joe, you've already done a good thing by stepping down and getting the hell out the way. So we love you for that. Thank you, Joe. I'll go back to sleep. Now, by making her the incumbent, now she is president. So you have two presidents running against each other. That is a phenomenal strategy because, again, we ride on that history of her becoming the president of these here United States, even if it's only for a week. All right. So yes, I would do that. If I was advising Kamala Harris, Joe Biden, I would have him step down and just because he's already not running for another term. He's done. What else is he going to do?
Yeah.
Right?
So one last question.
So cement your name in history, Joe.
Yeah.
Go down, baby. Go down for the team.
Yeah.
Right?
You did your job. You got us. You got us there. Yeah. No, I totally get it. So last question. It's sticking with the strategic mindset because I think you're exactly right. I've been saying I believe that even today, we talk about how things are a lot has changed in politics. Polls don't seem to be as reliable as they once were. I don't think endorsements carry as much weight in certain areas as they used to. But I strongly believe that the power of the presidency is still an intangible, a very powerful thing. So just if she is president on election day, I think that brings, this gravitas with it and can be, very much a positive for her. The only thing that could negate that is if she's president and something bad happens. So as a strategist, when do you do it? And what is that weighing the positive versus the negative of, if we install her, we know it's going to, that could be, a big boost of momentum right before election day. But if something terrible happens in the Middle East and maybe we don't have a great reaction to it, or there's some other, border crisis happens, now all of a sudden the Republicans can say, look, she's been president for 4 days and already this has happened. What is in your mind? What is the pros and cons, and when do you make that decision to try to limit the opportunity for mistake, but still take advantage of the positives of the presidency? When would we see a move like that in your gut
in my opinion? I would do it right after Labor Day. Right now, there's a lot of things going on. People took a pause. Kids are going back to school, going back to college. People are wrapping up summer vacations. And the last holiday of the summer, unofficial holiday, is Labor Day weekend. I'd let them do all that. But sometime between Labor Day and the 15th, the middle of September, if I was Joe Biden's people and I was advising him, I'd tell him to step down for his health. And he's just going to go out and he can go around the country and campaign on behalf of President Kamala Harris. That's what I would do. That's the move I'd make. Mm-hmm. And guess what? So what if something happens? Because most common sense people, not the MAGAs are going to say, see, she's been president for 1 hour and the sun didn't come up this morning. Okay, yeah. Okay,
well, if the sun doesn't come up, they might be onto something.
Right. Right. So what I'm saying, though, my brother, is that at the end of the day, her being there and her having president instead of vice president, that's a game changer, game over. We've never seen a woman president in this country. And remember, I've said it before. I know I did. I said I didn't think I'd live to see a black woman become the president of the United States. I didn't think I'd live to see a black man become the president of these United States because it hadn't happened to that point. Mm-hmm. We had nobody to get that close. So now at 63, when you can teach an old dog new tricks, I'm saying it's possible.
Yeah.
It's possible.
It's going to be a wild ride, man. It's going to be what's happening.
It's going to be fun.
Yeah. We had a very, very historically unique election in 2020 being right in the middle of a global pandemic. And with the president stepping down and all the things happening this time around, it is just as historic. And we're going to be here for you every step of the way on News Talk STL. A big part of that will be our conversations with America's favorite liberal, St. Louis Democratic strategist, Keith Antone. Keith, as always, my friend, thank you for your time and have a great weekend.
You too. Take care.
Yeah, you too. All right. You may not agree with everything he has to say, but it's important to hear that side of the aisle, because I know when he says things like the DNC was positive, the RNC was full of hate, and Tim Walz is the right choice over somebody like Shapiro, you have to remember that is an opinion that is held by a very large percentage of people in this country, and you have to see it from all sides, so you are informed and able to, debate your point and be an informed voter as we close in on this massively important election in November. All right, we are getting closer to the weekend, so why don't we have a little Friday fun time to send you off into the weekend with a smile on your face. Producer Emily is in studio with me, and we will do just that next here on Colombo and Company on 101.9 and 94.1 News Talk STL.
Paranoia strikes deep.
If you have a phone, you have a radio. Download the News Talk STL app and listen anytime, anywhere.
Here's one. If you want to take a break, unplug, get away from this crazy world, if not for a couple days, just for a couple hours, the best place to go is the great outdoors. Get out on the water, do some fishing, camping. Hunting season is right around the corner. And for any of these outdoor needs or any of these trips that you're taking, if you want to make sure you are prepared, make sure you visit our friends at Bluff City Outdoors in Alton. About a mile east of Fast Eddie's. They're on Broadway in Alton. Bluff City Outdoors open 7 days a week. They have all of your fishing needs. And they have for decades been the go-to place for fishermen in the area. And then a couple of years ago, they expanded. They more than doubled the size of Bluff City Outdoors, adding tons of great new services and products. So now they have all your bow hunting needs, all your trapping needs, and so much more for your outdoor lifestyle. As I mentioned, archery season, hunting season, right around the corner in both Missouri and Illinois. So if you need new equipment or you just need your bow restrung or repaired, they've got you covered there at Bluff City Outdoors. It is a great time to be out on the water fishing. So if you need to stock up on gear, live bait, lures, whatever it may be, frozen bait, all of it there at Bluff City Outdoors. They can even hook you up with a guided fishing tour on the Mississippi or Missouri River at Bluff City Outdoors, and so much more. Also, don't forget about the Bluff City Outdoors show every weekend, Saturdays at 11 a.m., Sundays at noon here on News Talk STL, hosted by myself and Mark McMurray from Bluff City Outdoors. So you take the show, you listen to the show, you get our fishing report, and then you head out into the great outdoors and unplug from this crazy world for a few hours. Trust me, it is the best thing that you can do. It is good for your soul. So enjoy enjoy the great outdoors and prepare for your next trip outside by visiting Bluff City Outdoors in Alton. Learn more by following Bluff City Outdoors on Facebook or at bluffcityoutdoors.com.
This is Larry Connor's commentary on News Talk STL.
Two companies that I really love and give a lot of business to went woke. They went woke and they broke my heart. But my anger and disgust was echoed by hundreds of thousands of others. So there's a change. Let's begin with a recent word that Harley Davidson was going woke, pushing diversity, equity, inclusion. Hog owners are not to be messed with. Word got to the Harley Davidson ownership, and the company responded saying, we're sorry about that. We'll respond with clarity and action. We are done with woke. Good. Well, after Harley, Jack Daniels, the other company had gone woke, fell in line. They had invoked DEI, but now Jack Daniels said, basically, our customers just won't swallow that stuff. So Jack Daniels is now reversing course. No more DEI. I do have a question. I would really like to know what someone at Jack Daniels in particular, or at Harley, had to be drinking when they suddenly felt captivated by the woke crowd. Whatever it was, they spit it out, and we're back on track.
Get more Larry Connors on Larry Connors USA.
Tonight at 6 on News Talk STL.
You want to give someone something which they will really enjoy? Give them a Cafe Napoli gift card. You pick the amount. They pick which of the Cafe Napolis they want to visit. Cafe Napoli in Clayton, Cafe Napoli in Town and Country, Napoli 3 on the streets of St. Charles, or right next door, Napoli C. The Napoli gift card. It's the perfect gift for anyone or your entire office. Cafe Napoli. Cafe Napoli.
Hey, St. Louis golfers, looking for a new golfing experience? Sugar Creek Golf Course was voted the most popular golf course in St. Louis. Book your tee time today at sugarcreekgolfcourse.com and join the fastest growing golf community in town, sugarcreekgolfcourse.com.
I want you to know that McGuire Moving and Storage is silver certified, which means McGuire has a quality reputation helping older adults move local or long distance. And something else to know, Josh McGuire, president of McGuire Moving and Storage, is the only certified moving consultant in Missouri. I'll tell you, once you met Josh, you're going to know your move will be easy. And I fully endorse McGuire Moving and Storage. McGuireMoving.com.
Attention St. Louis. The Republican Central Committee invites you to the annual Lincoln Reagan Days dinner. Join us Saturday, October 5th at the River City Casino for an evening of inspiration and insight with this year's special keynote speaker, J.J. Carell, retired U.S. Border Patrol, who served under Clinton, Bush, Obama, Trump, and Biden. Don't miss this opportunity to hear from a true expert in border security. For details and tickets, visit newstalkstl.com.
John Beal knows that right after a hailstorm, new roofing companies start popping up everywhere. But the Small Business Administration reports 96% of them go out of business within the first 5 years. So how good is that warranty? John Beal started in the roofing business, helping his granddad and his dad. Always offering the best roof, best price, best guarantee. John Beal Roofing, not some fly-by-the-night operation. Call my friend John, 1-800-NEW-ROOF, 1-800-NEW-ROOF.
Danny Define here, host of the all-new show, The Next Gen, with me, Danny Define. We're going to cover all the hard-hitting topics on this show, from national headlines to things happening right here in St. Louis.
Next Gen with Danny Define, Sunday nights at 8.
Right here on News Talk STL.
Welcome back to Colombo and Company on a Friday afternoon on 101.9 News Talk STL. It has been a crazy busy week, and it doesn't look like it is letting up at all. Just a reminder that we will be here for you every step of the way through America Decides 2024. Everything that is election related, we have you covered here at News Talk STL. Great conversation with Keith Antone, America's favorite liberal. I know he stirs a lot of people up. He says he stirs me up too, but that's the point of that conversation. So really appreciate the Keith Antone's time in that last segment. We also talked to Aaron Dorr from the Missouri Firearms Coalition today. He also has a show, Shall Not Be Infringed, Sunday nights, 9 p.m. here on News Talk STL. Gabe Pfeiffer was with us earlier. If you missed any of the show, make sure that you are subscribed to our podcast, and that will never happen. We put the show out as a podcast right after we get off the air every day, and we put it on basically every podcast platform. So wherever you get podcasts, make sure you subscribe to Colombo and Company, and you never have to miss anything that happens here on the show. Speaking of things that you don't want to miss, Emily is here, of course, and we mentioned this yesterday and earlier in the show today. But another reminder, CBS Sunday morning this weekend. It's going to be, we believe, 8 a.m. our time. Mm-hmm. It's what they sent you, right, about the interview? Yeah. CBS Sunday morning. Emily was interviewed about a week ago up there in New York by Jane Pauley with CBS News about the Girl State documentary that Emily was a part of that has been nominated for 3 Emmy Awards. And so you're going to be, and that's on your birthday, right?
Yes.
That's amazing.
It is.
Happy birthday.
We're hitting double decades.
Yeah, right. Happy birthday for one. And yeah, that's depressing how young you are. And how accomplished and how much you've already done.
Oh, thank you.
You're being interviewed on CBS Sunday morning this weekend. And I've never been interviewed on CBS Sunday morning. So congratulations
they might make
to you.
Me. We'll see how it looks. I'm excited to see what it
I'm excited
out.
for you. And this is really cool stuff.
Good birthday present.
You also are officially going to the Emmys, right?
Yes,
As part of the
I
Girl
am.
State team.
I'm so excited.
That is incredible also. So yeah, tune in. And, Emily just took over, after Katie left, and we had Ethan for a little while. and Ethan is going to be a part of the Jamie Allman Show, which starts on Monday as well. Start 8 to 10 p.m. starting on Monday every night here on News Talk STL. And Emily is now officially the producer of the show and the permanent solution since Katie left. And what a incredible time this is with the Girls State documentary doing so well, and you're going to New York to interview with CBS, and now now Emmys and everything else. I mean,
it's
super,
a wild ride. I
yeah,
know.
super cool stuff. So make sure you're watching CBS Sunday Morning this Sunday, 8 a.m. our time here in St. Louis. Check out Emily's interview with Jane Pauley. And again, happy birthday, kid.
Thank you.
All right. You're a big pumpkin spice person, right?
Yeah.
This is so funny because we're talking about having a little Friday fun time. I was like, let's find some silly stories out there. And Emily was like, we could always get into the, is it too early for pumpkin spice debate? And then like 1 second later, I'm looking through these stories and here's a headline from yesterday. Pumpkin spice latte is back at Starbucks today. It's the earliest it's ever returned. Is it too early?
No.
So you're right on top of it. I'm biased. I love pumpkin spice stuff. But I did see a poll recently, and I can't remember the exact results. I can't remember the things that were ahead of it, but it asked about America's your favorite fall flavors, and pumpkin spice was fourth.
Was the apple crisp?
I can't remember.
I do love a good brown sugar apple.
I can't remember what it was. They were all good. I remember like looking at
fall flavors are good.
I remember reading it and going, well, these are all good.
Yeah.
They're not as good as pumpkin spice, but they're all good. So it was legit. But yeah, I don't know. Is it again, I'm biased. I love pumpkins. I love
if you don't like
pumpkin bread at Great
spice,
Harvest Bread Company is my favorite thing in the world. So
don't buy the pumpkin spice. You don't want it. Have some self-control. If you're like, oh, it's too soon, then just don't get it. I don't know. wait until October if you need to wait. But I've been craving it since early August. Back to school means pumpkin spice, I think. So I needed it.
Do you ever fall for, or do you ever get involved in the ridiculous online trends, particularly like TikTok trends?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
No, it's fun. It's
Is
my
it?
generation.
Yeah.
As
I will say that.
as
Yes,
the
it is
voice
your
of-
generation as the official representation of Generation Z.
That, even if it's silly and cliche and
Okay,
it's fun.
Then good. Maybe you can help explain this one, because even if I think one's dumb, I at least will see like, okay, that's dumb and dangerous and or whatever and not funny, but people are getting attention, so they're getting the views and they're getting popular from doing it. So I see, whether I like it or not, usually I can see like why this became a thing or whatever. This one makes no sense to me. The new trend among online influencers to take staged / artistic photos of their TSA trays while they go through security at the airport.
I've done it.
I haven't even heard of this, and you've done it?
Yeah.
So, okay, if this is like,
it's cute, it's aesthetic, it makes me happy.
Okay, so for people like they're trying to envision this, like think about you're going through the metal detector at the airport, the TSA, and they give you the gray bin that you put your stuff in. Instead of just throwing your stuff in the bin, you set everything in there.
And you put your heels and your lipstick and your sunglasses and your little purse. And it's not, obviously, you're not traveling that light, but it makes it cute. It's like, oh, look how spontaneous and fun I am. But everybody knows it's just a cute picture.
It's the least spontaneous thing. It's like a meticulous.
I wanted to do it so bad that I thought about purchasing a TSA tray. I just don't know where you can get them from.
Can you do that?
I don't know. I don't know. But they're so cute. It's just fun.
What? But
just for yourself. For the
who wants to see that? Apparently, a lot of people want it.
I do. It's all over my TikTok, and I like it.
That is crazy.
I like it like that.
So, you just put your wallet and your phone and your keys and
outfit,
and your little water bottle and just set it up to make a perfect little
snap traveling light.
And then you gotta snap it. What is it?
I want it traveling light.
Hashtag traveling light.
Yes.
Is that still? Oh boy. Girls trip.
Yes.
TSA.
I thought it was so cute. as the voice of my generation.
This is
Hey,
what you're here for.
We
because
could be eating Tide Pods.
I need it. This is great. I am. The fact that you said I've done it, I'm still trying to like understand it, and you've already participated.
Yeah.
Is just amazing, and exactly why you are the spokesperson for Gen Z. Exactly. I know you're in a relationship, but there was a dating app survey that was just done, and it revealed the biggest what they call icks in modern dating.
Okay.
Here's a few of the top ones. I'm gonna see if you agree. A overabundance of negativity.
Yeah.
Is that like
That's an ick.
I know. Is it a thing though? Is there a lot of
Yeah. Oh,
negativity
yeah.
on dating apps? Is it like trying to be edgy or trying to
I don't know.
look
I guess
gain
there
some
could be.
sympathy?
I don't
Maybe
know. That would be an ick.
that's like
I haven't seen that.
I don't know if that's negativity. I don't know if that would be negativity.
Maybe it's like, oh, you're so out of my league or something like that.
Or like that. Yeah, like
that's an ick. Like, be confident.
Maybe go out. Nothing ever good happens to me. Nothing ever like be the one good thing that happened like that. Okay. Anyway,
that's
here's a big one. Filtered photos.
Yeah, no, that died with millennials, I think.
Really?
Yeah, filtered photo. Well, okay, I was thinking like
because
the
you're
puppy dog
right.
filter,
I'm talking about like
okay, they do
fitting your face.
Like, yeah, people do use that. That's just a lie.
Like
I don't
all
know.
of like that heavily filtered
Filtered and
photos.
Photoshop is an ick for me with girls too. Like when I see girls who are like evidently photoshopping their pictures, but they're like models, and guys are scrolling through and they don't know that's Photoshop.
That's
and it
interesting.
Just
You say that was
crazy.
more of a millennial thing than a Gen Z thing because it was.
I'm thinking of like the Snapchat
wildly
filters.
popular thing. But so the editing of your.
But like the thinning of your face, that's gonna be an issue.
Well, it's a turnoff. It's an ick, and so is being too materialistic. Those are the top 3 from that survey. All right, that is going to do it for us. Emily and I will be back on Monday at 2:00. Make sure you check out CBS Sunday Morning and watch Emily's interview this weekend. And keep it here for the O'Reilly Report next, followed by the Tim Jones and Chris Arp Show.
Well, if it's time to sell the house, why don't you go with the realty team that already has home buyers who are approved and could buy your house right now? That would be the Wallner Home Selling Team at Berkshire Hathaway. 2 great folks, Rodney and Jen Wallner, who happen to sell 15 times more homes per year than your typical realtor. And besides the husband and wife perspective that you get, you can also do it in Missouri or Illinois. Just call 314-810-SOLD. That's 314-810-SOLD.
Well, Vic, you're absolutely right, of course. I mean, here's my challenge. Just give them a call. Say, hey, Mike Ferguson was talking about you guys. Call Rodney and Jen, 314-810-SOLD. Because when you are making a decision on something as crucial as your home, as crucial as real estate, you want people who know what they're doing, but you want people who are ethical, easy to work with, and focus on empowering you to make the best decision. Give them a call, 314-810-SOLD.
1949, the last time a Republican held the top post in St. Louis City. A gallon of milk was 84 cents, and streetcars ran down Grand Avenue. The city was booming. Unfortunately, St. Louis city streets are no longer the epicenter of family and business life. In the 80 years of Democrat control, our city has been on a steady decline. St. Louis City Republicans believe it is our duty to provide a different path